Hello and welcome everyone to the Live Limitless Summit, where we are focusing all about having conscious, abundant, and empowered relationship. So, to those of you who do not know me, I am Neepam Jain, and I love facilitating and empowering people's limiting belief, pain, and trauma so that they can be the best version of themselves. So today we have someone very special straight from Australia, Queensland, who has a background in health and fitness. She is a hypnotherapy expert, RRT and coaching, and yin yoga and Pilates to create true mind body change. So, welcome Venessa Nickless to the show. I'm so excited to have you over here. So, what do you have for our viewers today in your toolbox? Over to you.
Thanks so much for having me. And sorry, it's a little bit dark in here. It's for once in Australia, very rainy and stormy, so you'll have to excuse the darkness. Yes, my background is health and fitness and coaching, and then hypnotherapy came along as well because I found that through my work, I was discovering that people may want to change in certain ways, whether it be they wanted to lose weight or exercise more or de-stress. And they could do the conscious patterns for a few weeks, but then something happened where they went downhill or went back to their old habits. And I found myself looking for ways to help them to make that permanent change and consistency. So that's how I got here. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's really amazing. So tell me, what is the most important relationship of all that is like, and why it is so important to have that important relationship? So what is that?
So a lot of people would think, the relationship with your partner or children, if you have them. Some people are uh, more into their pets, so that might be an important relationship. But really, we overlook ourselves, and that's the most important relationship of all, because if we're not looking after ourselves and we're not being kind to ourselves, loving ourselves, accepting ourselves, we will show that to other people, and there will be a mirror image of what's going on in our own thoughts and feelings towards the person who we're interacting with. And so that's how I see it being so important to have that relationship and care for yourself, so much so that we radiate that to others. All the harsh criticism that sometimes we can give ourselves, sometimes we can say, oh, look in the mirror, I look terrible, or I'm a terrible driver, or, there's a million and one things we've probably said to ourselves. And that harsh self-criticism causes that flight or fight system to turn on, the parasympathetic nervous system. And then that increases stress, decreases immune function, gets us anxious, depressed, all these kind of things, and leaves us unable to handle life's ups and downs. And as we know, this year there's been a lot of ups and downs. So if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not in a position that we can, help other people and thrive.
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, I truly understand that taking care of yourself is a first step towards anything. So how to nurture this relationship to bring abundance all around in your life?
So if you think of looking in the mirror
Hmm.
and actually saying to yourself, I'm actually pretty good at maybe what I do, or I really like the way my hair looks today. It can be very simple things, but sometimes you can avoid looking in the mirror because you're thinking, oh, I look fat today, or oh, I look a little bit old. And instead of focusing on those negatives, really focus on the positives, because we all have them. And our brains go automatically to the negative, just, the way we're built. And I think understanding that is a normal way for our brain to act is part of the empowerment to be able to go, actually, I understand why I'm thinking that way, but I'm going to choose a different way. I'm going to choose a better way for me, and I'm going to empower myself.
Wow. Okay. So how can we, you do a lot of hypnotherapy and coaching sessions. So how does that help and bringing a better relationship with your own self? Or if you can just explain us this concept of fight and flight or being conscious and unconscious with any of your clients.
Mm.
I mean, which you went through,
So,
you got a change that way.
yeah, hypnotherapy helps so much so because we can be consciously aware of, you know, bad habits or the way we talk to ourselves, the way we think. And it's so ingrained, we've grown up from the age of about 2 onwards. We've seen our parents behave in certain ways. We've gone to school perhaps or had mentors that behave in certain ways, and we learn everything, soak everything in. So these ways of speaking to ourselves and the words we use in our mind are really ingrained into our subconscious. So the hypnotherapy really helps us to take the mind back to those times in our life where we learn that initial behavior, and then we can cut the what's the word I'm looking for? Cut the connection with that and change the thinking around that so that the client can start thinking in another way. It's a little bit like, if you've been brought up in a family that has a mum and dad, they both work, you go to sports, you have really healthy food and, all the luxuries of life, compared to someone who hasn't had the luck and, you know, the happiness of having that. It's like changing that person who hasn't had all those things, their thoughts and feelings, to realize, just because I haven't had those doesn't mean that I can't build my life and create my life now to become who I want to be. So that's how the hypnotherapy helps so much. And it rewires the brain to reprogram more positive thought patterns and neural pathways into the brain. So it's actually quite scientific, although a lot of people now think, hypnotherapy is a little bit weird, or they think of stage shows and a bit, I don't know what they're going to do to me. But more and more research is going into it to show just how the neuroplasticity works in the brain, and so how impactful hypnotherapy is. And then the coaching then reinforces that. So the coaching helps people then put what they've learned in the hypnotherapy into place week by week, day by day, and just builds on the positivity and the success and the love, the self-love, until you are that person who is radiating the great feelings rather than feeling closed off and insecure, maybe not enough, all those kind of things. I have so many clients that I could tell you about, but most of my clients come in and they don't really know what to expect, and they think they'll do a little bit of a session and they'll be told what to do and then they'll go away. And the sessions are actually quite emotional. So the hypnotherapy allows us to go back into those thoughts and feelings that are very emotional. And because we're talking whilst we're in that subconscious mind, the clients are able to tap into things that happened years ago, but feels like it's today. And so the release of those emotions is so freeing and so empowering. It's just lovely to see them walk away, and it's almost like they're lighter already. Their face changes, they're glowing. And that's why I do this kind of work, to see that difference we can make and see the changes that people start believing in themselves, start realizing, I don't need to live how I've grown up. I can do what I want. I don't need to limit myself, and I can believe in myself.
So, what are these self belief which you talk about, and does these self beliefs, what we have for ourselves, stop us in any way?
Oh, yes. So we can have positive and negative self beliefs. The negative ones that I've been talking about are such things like, oh, I look fat in this dress, or I'm too unfit to exercise, or I'm too stupid to speak in public. Um, and I find that as women, we have a lot of them because in society, many cultures, women are kind of have their role in the world, you know. It's changing, but many women are feeling like they're not enough, and they could give something, but then they haven't got the courage. They don't believe in themselves enough to be able to go, yeah, I can do this. So that negative self-talk and negative self-belief can really hold us back. Whereas if you can reprogram the mind and give yourself that positive self-talk, it's like having someone there in your corner going, you can do it. Come on, this is amazing. What a brilliant idea. You look beautiful. You're so clever. And you imagine if you had someone in your ear just constantly telling yourself how amazing you are, it would make such a difference to how you're feeling. And this is where the coaching helps, because we can change the way you talk to yourself, and then also the coaching can help to reinforce that and to make people think about themselves in a different light.
Okay, wow, that's amazing, Vanessa. So, how does one? I mean, can you just tell few tips to our viewers, like how they can overcome if they catch themselves? First of all, catching yourself, being aware,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I have these kinds of thing which is playing in my mind. How they can catch themselves? How they can, when they catch it, how they can transform
Yeah.
from there in itself.
So that is the main thing, catching yourself and understanding that these things are happening and we can change them. Because we can live through our life and feel that this is normal, and just because we're not speaking them out loud, we might be just saying them to ourselves in our head. Sometimes we don't even consciously realize that we're talking to ourselves so badly. So catching yourself when you feel that you're being a little bit mean to yourself or not supporting yourself is the main thing. So then I teach my clients that it's like having your head, your brain, and then another one. It's almost like two people. This is the negative, and this is really you. So your mind can recognize the negative talk and the positive talk. So your mind is strong enough and powerful enough to go, actually, that's negative. You don't need that. I'm going to stop you right now. Let's talk positively. And it's almost like a school teacher, telling you off. So if you're able to think of yourself as that person who's your mind, and know that your mind is powerful enough to decide, okay, I am going to go with that negative thinking pattern, or I'm going to choose the positive thinking pattern, you become far more empowered to change your behavior. And if you continue to just do little things like that, step by step, day by day, it builds so massively, rather than thinking, oh, I want this massive goal, and feeling I'm not going to be able to make that.
Cool. That was really amazing to know, just talking like how your mind is talking like a teacher and everything. So, Vanessa, what are the tips to move successfully forward into your life? How to overcome all these things into your life? Because I think having relationship with yourself is the most important thing and the first basic relationship which we have with ourselves. So, how do we nurture it? How do we know whether we are really following it, being it?
I believe there's some telltale signs. So, for example, if you are speaking quite negative to yourself, you know that you don't really love yourself enough. If you're feeling that you don't really want to eat healthily or you don't really want to exercise, then really you're not loving your body enough to treat it in the way that is going to have it thrive. If you have problems sleeping, often that can be a telltale sign, because you're worrying about things, you're anxious about things, and that wakes you up or stops you from falling asleep. If you have addictions, if you smoke, if you eat too much, if you shop, all these things show that you need something else to create either some kind of happiness or calmness, or just feeling like you have everything. When if we strip those things away, what would you have? So it's almost like thinking, okay, well, all these habits that I have, if I didn't have that, what person would I be? And if you think, for example, a smoker, very few smokers can smoke 20 a day and then put them down and say, oh, I'm not smoking now. So there's a reason why they've been smoking, and a reason that maybe their self-love isn't as great as it could be. So I would advise people to think about those things and look, okay, if I didn't have that helping me, how would I survive? Would it be a struggle, or would I be, happy as Larry? And then most people think having a coach or seeing a hypnotherapist or even maybe going to a nutritionist or things like that, a lot of people think it's a big luxury. And if you think of really successful people in the world, these big CEOs or business people, every one of them has a coach or a mentor. Every one of them knows that to get from A to B and to continue with their success, they need someone to help them. So my thinking for the world, I would love every just normal person on a normal salary who wants to do better in their life, who wants to improve their life, to understand that it's not just rich and famous people who can have these coaches. They can have that exactly the same as that high CEO, and they will begin to change their life for the better, and they can do it.
Yes, I totally agree to that part of yours, that you really need, if you need some kind of support, please go and have look for it.
Mhm.
So tell me, Vanessa, if people want to look for you or want to get in touch with you, where they can find you?
So my email address is info@mindbodyclinicalhypnotherapy.com. And I'm on Facebook, Mind Body Clinical Hypnotherapy, and Instagram, mind_clinical_hypno. That's it. um, Feel free to email me with any questions. I do Zoom sessions, so international is absolutely brilliant. I love speaking to international people, and travel's one of my loves. So I love finding out where people are from, and seeing their homeland. And the main thing is if you have questions, really do get in touch. I love speaking to people. And even if you decide you don't want to work with me, I can help you to decide, okay, what is it that might help you? You know, not every client will connect properly with a practitioner. And say, for instance, if somebody came to me and I thought, I don't know whether they'll get the best results from working with me, I might send them to Unipan and you might have that connection that gets them those results. So I think when you're looking for a practitioner, to really chat to them and get to know whether you feel comfortable with their style, with the way they speak, with the, you know, openness that they share, all those kind of things really, really helps. So don't be shy to get in touch, because anyone who is worth their weight in this kind of self love and abundance wants the best for you, and so will do the best for you.
Thank you so much for that offer and having yourself open to conversate with people. That was really so kind of you, and it was honor to have you here with us today, Vanessa. Thanks for your time and the valuable information which you have provided to our viewers and everybody out here. Thank you, viewers, for giving your time and watching us. And I hope this small initiative transform you in some or the other way. If you all want to hang on, you can connect to us on my Facebook group. The link is which is given below. And stay healthy, stay safe, love yourself a little more every day. Bye. See you all the other side, everybody. Thank you, Vinisa.
Bye. Thank you.